Welcome back to another Ret Paladin video. Verabin here. Today we're going to talk a little bit about a very special talent that is becoming very near and dear to my heart, and that is the talent Healing Hands. And this talent is such a good complement to what Ret should be as a spec and even as a class. It just feels like you're playing a Paladin, and it feels like you have these two different modes that you can play in, where in the one mode you can do damage and you have a pretty decent damage profile as far as doing AoE damage, doing single target damage and all that good stuff. But if you need to, you can also switch into off healing mode, and in off healing mode you can do a ton of healing, and it's sort of like emergency healing. But I want to kind of walk through how you can use this healing to your advantage, how you can use it to make your groups better in Mythic Plus and in Battlegrounds and Arena and all that good stuff. And actually, I think that this is one of those talents that feels like it should be baseline, because it makes Ret into this sort of hybrid healer that I think it was always meant to be. So we're going to dive into that in a great detail. So let's hit it. Before we get started with the video, this is just a gentle reminder to please hodge that like button and subscribe for more Ret Paladin content. It's very helpful to the channel, so please take care of that, and we will get started. So the first thing I want to talk about is what this talent actually means. And basically what it means is that when your target is at low health, Word of Glory starts to heal a lot of damage. So Word of Glory baseline actually doesn't heal a whole lot without this talent. It's pretty good, but it's not really worth using without this talent. And when you use this talent and the target is at low health, and that's really when you would want to be using healing anyway, right? Is you wouldn't necessarily want to just use your heals at high health, because you're trading a lot of damage for it. So what this talent basically does is that it trades your Templar's Verdict or Divine Storm, which is, to be clear, a huge part of our damage, and that's going to be even more true once we start getting our conduits in there for single target, where Templar's Verdict is going to start doing almost all of our damage. So it's going to be a really costly thing to do, but if it saves the group, then it's going to be worth it, right? And this is not something that you're going to want to do under normal circumstances. Just if your tank is low health, you're not just going to go ahead and pop Healing Hands. I don't think that that's going to make sense. But there are situations where you're going to want to use it. And an example of that is when I was in a Mythic Plus group, and somehow the healer died. It was like the boss was at like 40% health and the healer died, and one of the DPS was already dead. So I was like, okay, so do we just wipe this or do we keep going? And I decided that, hey, I have Healing Hands. Let's give this a try. Let's just see if I can heal. And it was fine. Like, we did fine with me just healing. Now, granted, it's going to kill my DPS, right? I'm not going to do a whole lot of damage, but we were able to beat that boss and save a wipe. Because of that one talent that I had. Healing Hands made my Word of Glory heal so much. So those are those kind of situations where you know that you've got to switch into this other kind of backup healer mode, and being able to recognize that, in that particular scenario saved my group from a wipe. So it saved us a lot of time. So that's just one example of that. So we're going to look at some PvP examples as well. All right, so in PvP, this has some really obvious benefits to using, right? So when you're in PvP, if someone's at low health, you'd be stupid not to heal that person, right? But I think it's really easy for a lot of us to tunnel vision and try to do the most DPS and things like that. But the reality is that staying alive is the most important part of it. So if you are in a PvP situation and someone is at low health, either you or your teammate, then you're going to want to pop a Word of Glory on them rather than a Templar's Verdict. It's always going to be better, especially at low health. Some of the clips that I have are, I see it myself doing something like 15k, 20k heals, and it's just a bomb heal. It's almost like a lay on hands when the target is at low health. So I would definitely try this talent out if you haven't already, especially in Battlegrounds and Arena skirmishes and stuff like that, because it is absolutely a game changer. And there's going to be times where I don't have a cooldown, I don't have a stun, I don't have a horse, I don't have a slow or freedom or anything like that, and I'm just going to run and heal. And that's the kind of how you're going to play in a lot of cases. The other PvP aspect of this talent is one that is in Battlegrounds. Now, in Battlegrounds, you're playing a very different role as a Ret Paladin in Battlegrounds. You're probably going to run a couple different PvP talents and things like that, because you're going to want to have a more you're going to play a more support role because it's unlikely you're going to be able to set up the way that you need to set up. So when you're playing in a battleground, your heals are going to be really, really important, especially in a 10-person battleground. Because a lot of times in those random battlegrounds, there's only one healer, maybe two healers. So being able to off heal and to do significant healing is one of those things that's going to be really, really important. It's going to give you a lot more success in battlegrounds, and so Battlegrounds are actually becoming a really good place to get gear in Shadowlands. So that's one of those things that you're going to want to play to your strengths there and be able to get that gear efficiently. And part of what you need to do there is to heal. All right, so what's the point of this video? So this talent, if you recall, this talent was actually a lot stronger right when it was first reworked on beta, and it got nerfed pretty quickly because we could see that it was overpowered. But I think that it is going to look like it's too overpowered still, and I don't think that it is. I think that it plays into Ret's strengths, and I think it's one of the few things that Ret really has that other classes don't have. And other hybrid specs like Shadow Priest and stuff like that, they do have healing, but the way that this works is that it gets so much stronger as the enemy gets as your ally gets weaker. I think that plays into this emergency kind of healer role really, really well, and I really hope that Blizzard doesn't nerf it. And the other reason I'm making this is because I want you to play this talent, play it while it's fun, and play it while it's still really good, because it is a lot of fun. So that is all for the video. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more.